Scenes like this are described as labor transfer programs, which may at times amount to forced labor by media outlets such as Bloomberg, despite their reporters have never actually visited the factory. Global Times reporters visited one of the polysilicon companies that have been mentioned in these reports. Daqo New Energy Corporation is one of 4 main manufacturers of polysilicon in Xinjiang. It produced 77,000 tons of polysilicon last year, accounting for 15% of the world's production. The company hires 1,934 employees, 1% of them are ethnic minorities.
生产多晶硅产品的还原车间，是唯一的产品。多晶硅的话，再从我们这个装置里面产出来。 需要人工做一些辅助的一些工作，就是我们投放硅芯以后的话，进行一个收料，就是主要是这2个工作。
我们不是一种劳动密集型的企业，我们是一种技术密集、资金密集，我们所有的操作都在中公司完成。
通过包装线可以看到，我们需要非常少的工人，而且他们也只是作为一个协助和巡检这么一个作用。所以说，我觉得强迫劳动是无稽之谈的。 那么，如果说你非要说强迫劳动的话，那难道我们是在强迫机器劳动吗？
Bloomberg's report cites the International Labor Organization's Convention on Forced Labor to define labor transform programs in Xinjiang as work done under the menace of penalty. This means locals who participate are sometimes given wages and a degree of autonomy to choose the type of work. But there's no freedom to refuse to sign factory contracts.
招聘的途径主要是网络招聘。 还有现场面试，还有招聘会、员工介绍。3、4月是招聘旺季，同时也是离职的相对而言的一些高峰期。一个企业你没有一定的流动，没有一定的新鲜血液进入，那也是不利于企业发展的。
如果你觉得在公司不想这个工作了，正常的提交离职申请，我们一般情况下1个月之内你都可以离职。
Before 2010, U.S. companies dominated polysilicon production.
我们行业从一开始，我们技术就源于外国，对不对？请了很多老外来帮我们，然后通过我们的创新改进，是我们领先他们多了。
China accounts for 82% of the world's polysilicon supply, and the 4 manufacturers in Xinjiang account for 48% of the polysilicon production in China. China's share in global photovoltaic manufacturing industry. 67% for polysilicon material, 97% for polysilicon wafers, 79% for cells, 71% for modules. In order to crush China's photovoltaic industry, the U.S. government has taken multiple actions. Back in 2012, the U.S. Commerce Department imposed anti-dumping duties of 31.14 to 249.96% on Chinese photovoltaic cells. In January, Horizon Advisory, a consulting company, released a report which claims the polysilicon industry in Xinjiang is involved in a labor transfer program all over China. It also accuses the industry of using forced labor, but provides no evidence for either accusation. Almost all information on the website targets China. One of the company's co-founders, Emily de la Bruyere, is the director of ultra-neoconservative think tank, the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. The company even received funding from the U.S. Department of Defense during the Trump administration. Horizon Advisory's claim was subsequently reported by media outlets including the New York Times, Bloomberg, and the Wall Street Journal. Some Western companies followed the U.S. to boycott Xinjiang's productions over so-called forced labor. Like what the West did to Xinjiang cotton, forced labor has become the excuse to attack yet another industry in Xinjiang.
我们这个全球的光伏行业基本在中国了，是吧？全国的就全中国的硅料基本上又在新疆这一块，新疆、内蒙这两个地方可能把新疆拿出来之后，可能也别有用心。如果说把新疆这个打完了之后，我们的光伏行业可能又爬下了，倒退几年都有可能。
The U.S. accusations at Xinjiang's polysilicon industry are not unfamiliar. China is the world's largest cotton producer, and Xinjiang is the most important cotton-producing area, accounting for 87% of the country's total production. Since 2019, the U.S. has been suppressing the cotton industry in Xinjiang on the grounds of forced labor.
是吧？如果他到新疆来看这个棉花怎么长出来、怎么采收的，他自己都不好意思再说什么强迫劳动，就一项就是采摘这项。就正常咱们现在这个棉花采摘1公斤，如果是雇人采，大概就在2块钱，1亩地就等于是一般的时候是吧？采摘费就要800块钱，但是我们用这个机子采来，1亩地就是120块钱上下，不超过145。我觉得种植户这一块，他会自主就会选择这个农机这个机械的，不会选择这个人工。
我们就操作那些机器干的，不然的话我们就干不了那么多活。
Given that cotton productions are mechanized in Xinjiang, many people in China poke fun at the U.S. accusation as charging people in Xinjiang with forcing machines to work for them. Public data shows that China was the world's largest tomato producer in 2019, producing 62.76 million tons, about 35% of the global production. In January 2021, the Trump administration banned imports of tomatoes and cotton from Xinjiang over the so-called forced labor. In April, Japan's largest supplier of tomato ketchup, Kagum, halted its imports of Xinjiang tomatoes.
我们你看，从栽苗就是机械栽苗，然后到收的时候又是机械采收，但现在的人工成本可是高，所以说你说如果是要强制劳动的话，那肯定都不可能再发展机械。
From cotton to tomatoes to polysilicon, why does the U.S. frequently take action against Xinjiang's advantageous industries?
棉花它是这个纺织服装的上游，咱们国家现在是全球体量最大、最完善的纺织企业，然后这个服装业也是世界代工最强的，能源性的这种汽车啊，行业它也是跟多晶硅有关的。如果它要是效仿新疆的这个棉事件，当然它已经在效仿，那么整个的光伏产业可能都被这个美国乃至世界给挡在门外。一方面可能它也是对新疆产业有一个这个灭绝性的打击，其实是这个项庄舞剑意在沛公，无论是棉花还是光伏，它其实都是在破坏整个中国参与全球价值链的合作。